deal with airplane peanuts.
4 months after announcing the indefinite hiatus to his podcast with Sal Vulcano.
You moved to Austin. Sal has a kid. It takes 2 hours to get to the studio. We're not doing it anymore. That's what it is. I'm starting history hiatus again. Fuck the both of you.
There's been even more big changes for Chris Distefano. From joining YMH Network.
We're doing our ads and stuff through YMH.
Oh, okay, that's why I'm getting less money.
Probably.
To becoming one of the first 12 comedians to ever release a special on Hulu. And as you're about to hear, Chrissy Chaos explained all of those decisions and more, including the official status of a possible Hey Babe return, and what it's really like having Tom Segura as his boss.
First Date is a YMH show, and your podcast just joined that network as well.
Yep.
What's the biggest difference being under the YMH umbrella?
Just kind of being around Tom Segura more and being yelled at by him for being poor.
Last weekend, I was hanging out with your good friend Mike Cannon, and I asked him during an interview who would win a one-on-one basketball game between the two of you. He said it'd be pretty evenly matched, but eventually you'd wear him down with your fat ass.
Yes.
But how do you think that game would go?
I think that's exactly how it would go. Is because that I do have a lunch lady ass. If you kind of drop into any school cafeteria in the United States, a lunch late, there's typically a 50 to 60-year-old woman there with just a huge ass that she needs to, make the tater tots and keep the children in line. And that's the kind of ass I've been blessed with. So I can back down Mike. Also, I think Mike would probably be, I could tell Mike that I was winning when in fact he was winning because he's so high at all times and he never knows what's going on.
We've never played one-on-one, and I think that's by design. Like, neither of us want to see what would happen. It's better left unsaid. I personally think he would probably body me. He's got like 20, 30 pounds on me. He's got a big butt. You just have to back me down and just, take me like I want him to.
Do you have a starting 5 basketball team out of all comedians?
Out of all comedians, my starting 5 would be Mike Cannon, myself.
Nice.
I would take Rick Glassman.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take Shane Gillis. Only because, you want to have Bud Lights on the sideline, cool off. And then I would, just to throw everybody for a loop, my 5th, I'd take Bobby Lee. Yes, because you thought I was going to go 5 white guys, and you were going to, I was getting ready for the comments, oh, you racist piece of shit. But no, I brought in everyone's favorite North Korean, Bobby Lee.
Yeah, Lee Sanity is what they could call him.
Yeah, bang. Absolutely.
All right, well, your next special will be out on Hulu. That was just announced. They also announced specials from Bill Burr, Jim Gaffigan, Jessica Kirsten. What are your thoughts on Hulu entering the comedy space in general, and do you think they'll ever be able to catch up to Netflix as a true 1-1 competitor?
Well, I mean, speaking of all white people, that's what Hulu just did my basketball joke. They've just put all white comedians out. But there are non-white comics. I just don't know who they are. Roy Wood Jr., there you go. Our boy, Roy Wood Jr., one of the best. I do think that any type of big platform like a Hulu does anything, they're going to put massive marketing behind it. Mm-hmm. They're going to do what they can to get the eyeballs on it. So I'm happy to be a part of something during the first wave of it. I think that's important. I mean, you look at, a guy like Tom Segura, he went on Netflix when nobody else really was doing that, and, he became who he be, the Tom Segura. So I'm hoping that, me and the other comics a part of this can get our shot at that too, because I think they're gonna, it's cool how they're doing it. They're not just putting them all up at once. They're putting one up a month. Mm-hmm. So for 1 month, all of us are going to get like a fair shot of, hopefully a lot of eyeballs.
Yeah.
And, as far as catching Netflix, I mean, I don't know, dude, they teamed up with Disney. I mean,
yeah,
if anybody's going to catch, I mean, can you stop Disney?
I don't know. I don't think you can. Does Netflix have a partner? Or are they just Netflix?
Not right now, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they do. I mean, dude, Netflix is going to have to team up with Saudi Arabia if they want to beat Hulu Disney.
Do you have a name and release date yet?
So the release date, I believe, is February 21st. Okay. And we kept going back and forth with the name. I was gonna name it Special Chrissy, but they said that was hitting too hard. They were like, it was like right on the line of like my special, but also a special needs joke. So they said no to that. Then I want to name it Mr. Perfect, because I have a joke about me meeting Mr. Perfect at the Yankees game, but that was trademarked. So we came up with, because I just say it all the time in my stand-up, we came up with It's Just Unfortunate. So the name of the special is It's Just Unfortunate.
I like that a lot. Special Chrissy is close to Special Weshy too, also.
Yeah, so we want to give it some separation. So it's called It's Just Unfortunate, and it's coming out I believe February 21st, they did, out of all the comics, they did give me Black History Month, and I appreciate that.
For those of you who didn't see our video discussing Hulu's plan to enter the stand-up space, this November will be the official launch of Hulu's Laughing Now, which is Hulu's new stand-up comedy brand made to compete with Netflix's A Joke, which has not only been the original home to various iconic specials and shows, but has also been responsible for several of comedy's biggest recent mainstream moments. It'll be interesting to see if Hulu wants to fully compete with Netflix on the festival and live streaming aspect, but releasing 12 big stand-up specials per year from established veterans is a great start.
Well, something you hear nowadays, comedians say on podcasts, it's a sentiment that I feel like is repeated, is that specials are getting less special. What are your thoughts on that?
I do think that that's true. It's oversaturated now, but I don't think that that means they're meaningless or not important. I think they're very important to show the arc of what a stand-up can do. I do think what's more important, though, is getting your special out in as many good clips as you can and getting those out on the internet. I mean, if you look at Sebastian Maniscalco, just sold out 5 shows at Madison Square Garden and sells arenas all over the world. His special, when it came out, it was great, but it's really got consumed by the public in clips.
Yeah.
And I think so it's really about the clips of it. I know right now, and I do crowd work is fun to do in the moment. It really is. It's fun, the live show experience. I like it. I'm supportive of it. But I do think that it's become like the cool thing to do is crowd work. And I do think eventually audiences will get tired from that, because what is much, much more difficult is an hour long of material and an arcing. So an arc to an hour long set. So I do think that's like vitally important, because it may not feel like it's the thing right now, but I think it's what's worked since the beginning of time with comedy. So it's what will continue to work.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things that are working, you were just on Kill Tony last night for the first time in a while. What is the biggest change that you've seen from your point of view as a panel member of that show since last time you did it in March of 23?
I mean, well, first of all, what I need to keep reminding myself about Kill Tony is not to wear clothes that I like, because all my clothes smell like weed, cigarettes, cigar smoke, spit from special needs people, human shit, whatever they're throwing at us. So that's one. But two, it has genuinely become, not obviously exactly like this, but it's become the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, Tonight Show, of our day, where like you can now, these guys who go, guys, girls, whoever, theys, who go on there and kill for a minute, I mean, it gives them opportunities that they couldn't possibly get from any other type of platform.
Okay, well, I have one more question for you today, Chris. Thank you so much for your time. The people need to know, I need to know, everyone needs to know, what is the official status of this Hey Babe hiatus?
So hiatus, babe. And we have my guy off to the corner, Steve Ciccone Riceroni, who was the producer of Hey Babe in the later years. What's going on right now is, Sal is, when we started Hey Babe, Sal was not doing Practical Jokers because it was during the pandemic. So we had all this time. We had a year of him not doing it. And now with that Impractical Jokers schedule, which obviously takes priority, it was really hard to be able to get to do Hey Babe and Taste Buds and him do his Practical Joker schedule. And then I got busy with my own stuff. Joe DeRosa's moved to Austin. So we said, what would be best, rather than kind of piecing together episodes here and, giving the fans quantity over quality, we were like, let's take a break. And Practical Jokers, I think, is going to have a little bit of a gap for like 4 months, I think, starting in the winter. So our plan is to break hiatus, babe, and start Hey Babe at that time.
Guest spots from last week: The Joe Rogan Experience had on Brigham Bueller, Paul Rosalie, and Israel Adesanya. The Legion of Skanks were on Kill Tony. Ari Maddie joined Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. Aaron Belial was on Whiskey Ginger. Rob Eiler visited Your Mom's House. Are You Garbage welcomed Doug Stanhope and Donnell Rawlings. Duncan Trussell and Lemaire Lee were on Legion of Skanks. Dion Cole showed up to Burtcast. Adam Ray was on Chrissy Chaos and took a ride on the Harland Highway. Two Bears, One Cave was Bert and Tom, Tom and Bert. Rough Week welcomed Lemaire Lee. Brian Regan stopped by We Might Be Drunk. Bad Friends, The Tim Dillon Show, and Tuesdays with Stories all did not have guests. Harland Williams was on You Be Trippin', and Flagrant uploaded episodes with Mark Cuban and Donald Trump.
I'm good with names, You
are. You're very good with
names.
I
mean, Pocahontas.
Yeah.
We have names.
What about, and there was, Tampon Tim was good. What about,
the problem with Tampon Tim, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
In other words,
it's a mouthful.
It's a lot. Tampon. And you can't stutter it through when you follow. It's really a lousy word to say.
Yeah.
But it's quite accurate, right? there are some, like Comrade Kamala. It's a little hard to say. She's comrade because she's obviously a communist.
Yeah.
She's horrible.
Yeah.
So I call her comrade.
Yeah.
And it's not bad. But when you put the names together, it's a little, you got to be able to pume.
Joe Gatto was the guest on This Past Weekend with Theo Von. Ari Shaffir joined Dave Smith for the 2024 State of the Union on Part of the Problem. Jordan Jensen and Mama Glassman took their shoes off with Rick Glassman. Story Wars included Corey B., Ryan Long, and Chris Allen. Paul Scheer made an appearance on Stavi's World. Sarah Tolamash was on Sag Daddy to Pod. Jay Moore was on Fitzdog Radio. Jeffa Curry stopped by You Know What Dude. JP McDade sat on the couch with Soder. Dusty Slay went on First Date. Wayne Brady made it weird with Pete Holmes. Brendan Sagalow and Military Gun joined B and Ian with Jordan. Leanne Kreischer sat in the way back with Ryan Sickler. And we interviewed Tim Dillon about his new Netflix special right here on Joke World. As far as new stand-up comedy specials that are either out right now or coming out soon, Ali Wong's Single Lady is out on Netflix. Paul Verzi, Reasonable Man, and Ryan Long, Solving the World's Problems are both out on YouTube. Also out on YouTube is Josh Wolf, 4 Stories, Ali Sadiq, the PTA special, Phil Hanley released a half hour of crowd work on his channel, and Josh Johnson uploaded a 24-minute set about Tyreek Hill getting arrested.
Sitting there in the car and everything, and then the cop knocks on the window, and then Tyreek lowers his window, looks at the cop and goes, "Don't knock on my window like that," and then rolls the window back up. And as an African American audience member, I was like, uh-oh. And
there's also a few stand-up specials in the works right now that will be coming out soon. On October 29th, Tom Papa Home Free will be out on Netflix. And speaking of Netflix, Nate Bargatze recently announced that he'll be returning to their platform for his next 2 specials, starting off with Love at First Sight on December 24th. But other than that, our 2024 Skankfest documentary will be coming out very soon. It might even be on the end screen after this, depending on when you're watching. But we wanted to wait till a majority of the podcast recorded at Skankfest got released on YouTube. And speaking of end screens, feel free to check out our recent interview with Tim Dillon if you enjoyed this video featuring Chris Distefano. And a big thank you to all the people who subscribe to this channel, like the videos, comment on the videos, all of that good stuff that make these interviews possible, make this a place that these comedians are willing to come be interviewed. I really, really, really appreciate it. And if you want a free sticker in return for your interactions, just let me know on Instagram and we'll send these in the mail completely for free. All right, thanks for watching. Oh, and one last thing. This interview was edited down to be a relevant news story just about the Hulu and YMH and Hey Babe stuff. But if you want to see the full 18-minute interview, we posted it on our Patreon. You can check that out if you're interested.
At Joke World. That's it, at Joke World.
And the world is WRLD.
That's a great YouTube channel, Joke World. Check it out.